why did Mr. Markle never meet Prince Harry? And there can only be three reasons for that. One, that she was ashamed of him, which I think was a bit pretty unattractive. Two, possibly that she thought he'd done something. But when Prince Harry rang Mr. Markle up and asked if he could marry his daughter, he said, "You can marry her as long as you never raise your hand against her." And of course, we don't talk like that. So maybe he lives in a world where people have done that sort of thing. I dispute that as well. I don't think that's the case. The third reason is that I think she was worried that he might actually have warned Prince Harry that this is not what you're getting, this girl.
They're not two normal families, are they both married into? I mean, let's be honest, that both families have quite a lot of history. They've got a lot
Mr. Markle should have been at the wedding, and they should have flown him over and stuck him in a health farm in the Shetlands or somewhere. Prince Harry should have gone up to see him, and if he couldn't have walked the aisle, he should have been sitting there, because as you rightly say, he did a lot for that girl. She even admitted it in the early days before she distanced herself from him.
He lives 3 hours away. There is no excuse. And actually, I have to say, it's pretty, some of the circumstances that he's living in compared to the riches that Harry and Meghan have is appalling. And I will always defend that man, because I think that he has been absolutely wronged by that woman.
He's in the Philippines now, correct me if I'm wrong.
He's in the Philippines, yes. He is there with Thomas Markle Jr. and they're just trying to get away from it all. When we talk about privacy and, you know, Harry saying, "Oh, I want security," they have been hounded. They have had to flee the country, basically, to try and get some peace and quiet. So
he was 70 miles away, wasn't he? It wouldn't have been very difficult for Prince Harry
to have driven
the children over there to meet him. I mean, and she talks so much about, you know, relationships and things, and mucks up their own relationship. And one day, as you rightly say, he will die, and then there'll be a whole lot of, you know, what's Meghan, will she go to the funeral? She'll probably make a whole thing about it. And poor man, I feel really sorry for him, because if you listen to what he says, not how he's reported, but listen to actually what he says, he never says anything unpleasant, does he?
That's very true.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. I think he does. I think over the years, I like Thomas as well. I spoke to him in the past.
He's reported as saying it's always, you know, it's always twisted.
Okay.
I mean, if you actually listen to the actual words that he says, he often, when he's interviewed, you can see him thinking for a bit, and he's very moderate. Well, and he was also very respectful to the late Queen, always, and admired her hugely. And what this couple have put her through is one of the things I shall never forgive them for in the last years of her life.
I hope it all ends well with Thomas, because, as you say, I've spoken to Thomas in the past, and he's a very lovely, but slightly not damaged, but he's quite, you know, he's been hugely affected by what he was thrown into when it emerged that Meghan married Harry.
It's very messy, and I actually think that without fixing the foundations of that relationship, both Harry and Meghan, they actually won't be able to pursue a sort of brand, because it's very hard to take them seriously when everything's a car crash behind the scenes publicly. So I just think without fixing these family relationships, you can't pretend to have this like lifestyle brand with linen and picking things. It just doesn't work. So I think that's actually, it's a bigger problem for them.
Let's talk about something that almost no one dares to ask out loud. Why has Prince Harry never met Meghan Markle's father, Thomas Markle? They've been married for 5 years. They've had 2 children. They've lived in the UK and the US. They've shared every detail of their truth with Oprah, Netflix, Spotify, and Spare. But somehow, Harry has never once met the man who raised Meghan Markle. No phone call, no handshake, no visit. And you're telling me that's just coincidence? No. There are 3 possible reasons this has happened, and let me tell you right now. The third reason is very bad news for Meghan. So, let's start with the obvious excuse, the one we've all heard. He was supposed to come to the wedding. He had health issues. The paparazzi staged photos ruined it. Look, I get it. That drama around the 2018 wedding was real. The media hounded Thomas. He backed out. Meghan walked down the aisle without him. But that was 5 years ago. Harry has never made the effort to meet him. Not when they were in the UK. Not once they moved to California, and Thomas lives just a few hours away in Mexico. We're supposed to believe that in all that time, there wasn't one weekend Harry could have said, "Hey, I want to meet your father." Does that sound believable to you?
Okay, from deep-rooted family issues, let's try and settle something a little bit happier. I was at Trooping on Saturday. Yes. I saw the Princess of Wales with Louis, George and Charlotte. They seemed a little bit more grown up. They seemed a little bit more better behaved, a little bit kind of more.
Well, it's a
they were
year
more
since the
comfortable
last
in the
trooping,
carriage,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Children do grow up rather quickly at that age. But yeah, no, they were all great. I mean, it was absolutely lovely to see. She looked absolutely stunning, I thought.
And this was a return, really, to trooping, because last year she wasn't on the dais. This year she was on the dais with the
Yes.
King and the Queen, and that was quite a sight to see the three colonels with the colonels and William and Edward on horseback as well.
Yes,
It was quite a sight.
absolutely. Yes. Magnificent. No, it's very good. And she was also at the Garter ceremony on Monday as well, looking lovely.
It's been quite a week. Let's
Yes.
talk about Catherine. It's been quite a week for her. We haven't seen her, we haven't seen her for a while, but we saw her at the Garter ceremony, giggling when Prince William walked past in his plume and his cape and trooping with the children. I understand you would have been at Garter as well.
Yes, I hate to tell you, I've been to every one since 1965, but that's just one of those things.
It's an achievement. Gosh, yeah.
Nobody else has, I can tell you. Yes.
And how welcome was it to see the Princess of Wales back this year? Because she wasn't there last year.
No, it's always wonderful to see her back. I mean, that's the great thing. She's really the great hope of the future, isn't she? She's a real star. She's the biggest star in the royal family.
I think her not being there for at least a year or 18 months has actually just shown how much we do need her when you see her coming back and sort of the reverence that the crowd has for her and the beautiful pictures that come out and just the elegance and grace that she brings to the royal family. I think we all really missed her, and it's just fabulous to see her back out there looking really healthy and doing what she does best, which is a service, a life of service to the people. She has always been so graceful with that.
Do you remember Wimbledon last year, the roar from the crowd when she appeared,
Yeah, I was there. I was like, wow. I mean, she was a vision. It was like there was light coming out of her. I know I'm like such a Princess Catherine fangirl, but it was something else.
Now we get into theory 2, and it's a lot more uncomfortable. What if Meghan's the one keeping them apart? Let's be honest. Meghan has made it very clear that she wants full control of her story. She chooses what the world sees. She chooses what Harry hears. And she's carefully crafted a public image of estrangement and victimhood when it comes to her father. Here's the thing, though. Thomas Markle talks. To the press. To cameras. To anyone who'll listen. And he's been very critical of Meghan, and of Harry too. So, if Harry meets Thomas, Meghan loses control of the narrative. He might say things Meghan doesn't want him to hear. He might contradict things she's told Harry. He might expose gaps in the official story. And that's dangerous to the brand. Now here's where it gets really dark and where the spotlight turns fully on Meghan. What if Harry is choosing not to meet Thomas Markle because deep down he's afraid? Afraid that Thomas might tell him things Meghan never has. Afraid that Thomas might poke holes in the fairy tale. Afraid that Thomas might change how Harry sees Meghan. Because, let's face it, if your spouse has cut off most of their family and you never meet any of them.
But this is really the season, isn't it? As I say, I pointed out we had trooping. Let's talk about the three children just briefly, Louis, George and Charlotte. And I say that they were kind of better behaved, but they feel a little bit more comfortable on the main stage now, and they seem to be reacting better. We seem to be watching them grow up, and it's the only real time of the year, apart from Christmas Day, where we get to see the young children interacting. So we get to see them talking to each other, George almost disciplining Louis, and Charlotte kind of rolling her eyes. What do you think about being able to watch the three children kind of interact publicly?
Well, I think they're just such stars, and obviously very well brought up kids. They're all at school together, as you know. It's just a lovely family.
They're absolute superstars.
Yes.
You can already tell just when you see those glimpses of their personality that they are the future of the royal family, and they will bring them into that next chapter. So it's brilliant to see them. You can see they all get along. Yeah, you're right. There are those dynamics there. Louis obviously the breakout of the three, but they all hold their own, and you can see how amazingly William and Catherine are bringing them up. That shines through. They've got great mannerisms, and you can see that they're very serious people,
so
or little kids.
Do you think we get a sense of their personality on these big events?
Yes, I do. I think Prince Louis, I think, is very intelligent the way he does things. I mean, the flick of the head and things was very kind of subtly done. And Princess Charlotte, I've always thought, is a grown-up masquerading as a 10-year-old.
Totally, yeah. I see so much of Elizabeth II in her.
Yes,
There's a lot of
you're
that.
right. You're right.
sensibility.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Which brings me on to my point that if we were watching them live, at these major events such as Trooping and VE Day, as you pointed out, with the moving of the hair, we're only getting to see Archie and Lilibet on curated Instagram pages. We're not able to see their personality maybe in the same way that we can see the Wales children.
No, well, they're out, aren't they? I mean, that's another world. But I mean, apparently they're called Prince and Princess these days, which I'm sure will help them enormously when they're at school in a dangerous situation. I mean, it's all ridiculous.
I think it's not fair on them because
No, it
actually
isn't.
the media will get to dictate what their personalities are because Meghan hasn't shown any of it. So when they're a little bit older, maybe when they're rambunctious teenagers, all it's going to be is probably paparazzi shots of them coming in and out of maybe a club or a dinner. And then we're going to decide who they are. And that's actually not fair. And I think Meghan and Harry, because of their paranoia, are setting them up for failure. And I'm really, really worried about what the future will bring for those kids. And it is quite tacky as well, just these Instagram reels with cheap sort of music over them. That's all we get to see. I'm not very comfortable with it at all.
Wouldn't you want to ask? What's the real story here? Maybe Meghan knows that one meeting with her father could raise more questions than answers. And maybe Harry knows it too. And that's exactly why it hasn't happened. You might be thinking, who cares? So he hasn't met her dad. Big deal. But here's why this matters. Image, credibility, integrity. Harry and Meghan have built their brand on transparency, on trauma, on truth. They've told the world their side of everything, from palace protocol to family betrayal. But when the man who raised Meghan, who walked her to school, paid for her education, and knows her better than most, is completely cut off, it makes people question everything. Because if Harry still hasn't met Thomas Markle, that's not an oversight. That's not bad timing. That's a deliberate strategy, and people are starting to notice.